Hey guys, this is an excerpt from my fantasy novel, The Price of Renewal. I just released this new copy with a brand new cover. I did this over quite some time, drawing each of these characters and putting them together, and it's just a much sleeker looking, awesome new edition of the book. You can get this on Amazon in paperback, hardcover, and ebook. But if the price is too high for anyone and you'd still like to get your hands on the book, I also just released a brand new mass market paperback edition, which is about 4.5 by 7 inches, so quite a bit smaller than this one. And that one is going for only $10. So go ahead and pick up your copy today over on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. And let's go ahead and get on with this excerpt.
The Price of Renewal by Austin Buffington. Chapter 3. I will be leaving the village for quite some time, Aldenor began, sitting across from Rowan and Lyra Wyndlith in the parlor of their charming homestead. I was visited by the Almighty in a dream last night. Ye heard the voice of Serinath? Lyra exclaimed, almost levitating out of her sturdy wooden chair. It is so, Aldenor replied, his voice lacking the enthusiasm that radiated from the fanatical woman before him. The weight of his surreal encounter from the night before pressed heavily upon him. I am to retrieve your daughter and return her to Oakenwood. The Wyndlith's home was spacious yet comfortable. In contrast to Aldenor's own, the ceiling was high, the room wide, and a bearskin rug lay across the wooden floor. The air was ripe with the scent of freshly baked raspberry galettes, a familiar smell that brought Aldenor back to his early childhood, before his time at the High Chapel. I thank ye for this gesture, Reverend, but if Anna needs retrieving, we can take it into our own hands, Rowan explained in the deep and firm voice of a working man. Rowan Wyndlith made an honest living as a farmer and had a set of rugged, knotted hands to prove it. I'm afraid that won't do. Lord Serinath has called for me personally, Aldenor responded, hanging his head. He winced as he recalled the pain of stumbling into the sharp, jagged bark of a charred tree in his dream. I witnessed firsthand his incredible power. Who will lead the chapel in your absence? Lyra inquired, her eyes bulging with anticipation. That is one of the reasons I am here. I would like the two of you to take over while I'm away. You are both wise and pious members of the covenant, and should you accept, I am confident you will do well. Yes, Lyra nearly shouted, rising even further out of her chair. We accept. Now hold on a minute, Reverend, Rowan interjected, disregarding his wife's exuberance. Anna is our daughter. If anyone should take on this duty, it be us. Aldenor lifted his gaze to meet Rowan's. A brief moment of silence and tension followed. Quite simply, Aldenor understood the man's position perfectly. It is reasonable that he prefers to be the one to go after his daughter. Who are we to interfere with Serinath's decrees, Rowan dear? Lyra's face had now taken on a rosy hue of embarrassment after her zealous display. If our Lord wishes for his reverend to be burdened with this task, he is the one who must go. Lyra sat back down, feeling overcome with a youthful energy. There was no moment grander than this one. The reverend of their chapel entrusting her, a woman, with the responsibility of leading service for an unspecified period of time. Replaying Aldenor's words in her head, she shifted in her seat, struggling to contain her overwhelming joy. Very well, Rowan conceded. I see that my wife has already made up our mind for us. We will lead service while ye are gone, Reverend. You have my gratitude, Aldenor said as he rose from his chair and walked over to the married couple. Allow me to say a prayer for your undertaking of this duty. As one, they all raised their hands with their palms towards the ceiling while Aldenor recited the prayer. Serinath tholiram il, Venara kala mathira Wyndlith zeroth veyar valthor enara. Upon completion, Aldenor lowered his hands and placed them on the Wyndlith's shoulders. For a brief period, they sat in silence, each of them taking in the present moment. Aldenor was the first to break the silence. "There is one more thing I must ask you." "Aye, Reverend, anything," Lyra responded. "How will I get to your daughter? If you know the way, I could use some directions." Lyra got up from her seat and scurried over to a beautiful yet robust desk that rested against the wall. She pulled on one of the drawers that opened with a creaky rasping as wood scraped against wood and began rifling through it, tossing aside a variety of items in the process. At last, she turned and made her way back to the men with a quill and a small pot of ink in one hand, a tattered piece of parchment in the other. Taking her seat once again, Lyra readied herself to map out her husband's directions. "You want to take the path that heads east out of town," Rowan began. "Once clear of the forest, ye should find yourself in an open area with rolling hills that span a great distance." Lyra hastily yet carefully copied Rowan's words onto the parchment, forming a collection of rudimentary lines and symbols. "Off in the distance, ye may be able to make out the shape of the great mountain Aether Peak. Keep following the path toward it. It will likely take a couple of days, but as you draw closer to the foot of the mountain, the Stone Reach Citadel will be in sight." "The capital of Ardania," Aldenor noted aloud. "I know where that is." "Aye, but be careful, Aldenor. That be a dangerous burg." "Thank you, Rowan," Aldenor replied. "I will heed your warning." "You'll want to hire a carriage for the next part. From Stonereach you must travel to Druenvar, on the other side of the mountain. It be a grand port on the coast of Saltwind Harbor, just beyond Aether Peak." By this point, the parchment that Lyra had been scribbling on morphed into an impressively detailed map, charming to the eye and perfectly legible. "Head southeast till ye find a forest. From here, I be of no help, Reverend. Galdor lives in a clearing somewhere in the Elder Woods, which Anna has called the Whispering Glade." "The Elder Woods?" Aldenor asked with a slight gasp. "The Elder Woods of legend?" "The very same," Rowan confirmed while passing the finished map from Lyra to the Reverend. "I hope this map serves ye well, Reverend," Lyra said. "Good luck on your journey." Rowan lifted out of his chair, towering over Aldenor, and placed a hearty hand on the Reverend's back. "I'll walk ye to the door. Best be getting started so as to not waste daylight." When the two men reached the door, Aldenor turned and faced the Wyndliths with a light smile. "Thank you both," he said with a slight bow. "I am not sure when I will return, but I know the chapel is in good hands." With that, Aldenor exited the Wyndlith household and set out along the dirt path, following it to the edge of Oakenwood, where the village met the forest. He moved swiftly, knowing it would be quite some time before reaching his first destination. Upon reaching the forest's edge, Aldenor slowed and faced the serene little township that he had come to love. Smoke curled from chimneys atop the congregation of modest cottages. At the end of the dirt path, opposite to where he was standing, Aldenor could see the chapel. His heart swelled with a mixture of love for his town and sorrow for his departure. Kneeling onto the soft dirt, the Reverend raised his hands to the sky. For the first time, he prayed in his own language rather than the cryptic tongue of the scriptures, knowing after his dream that his God would understand him just fine. "Lord Serinath, thank you for blessing me with this life, for I am here in this wonderful village thanks to my devotion to you. Please guide me on my quest. I pray that myself and Anna Wyndlith return home safely." After a moment of silent reflection, Aldenor got back to his feet and stepped into the dense woods, beginning his journey. A humble priest sent on a mission by his God. A lonely thief trying to find her way in the world. A wizard's apprentice on a quest for liberation. Follow Aldenor, Naya, and Anna as they venture through Ardania and uncover the hidden truth of the Covenant of Renewal, a dying religion with a gray morality. Read the hit book, The Price of Renewal, by Austin Buffington, available on Amazon.